boxer, how do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been.
Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know.
This fight is still technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement.
Floyd Mayweather has once again sent shockwaves through the boxing scene, calling out Jake Paul after Gervonta Davis's fight was cancelled due to Tank's ongoing legal drama. Mayweather stated clearly that he's willing to step in and fight Jake, and this time he claims it would be a real bout, not a simple exhibition. He also stressed he wouldn't move up and wait, indicating that if the match happens, it will be held under genuine professional rules. The surprising challenge has created massive buzz among fans, with many curious to see if Floyd is truly preparing for a legitimate return to fighting.
Jake Paul to fight. Is he someone you're interested in or no?
Well, you know, if you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money.
Due to the lawsuit and related investigation, Davis's widely discussed exhibition against Jake Paul has officially been cancelled. His promoter, Most Valuable Promotions, released a statement reviewing the situation and choosing not to move forward with the event under these conditions.
He was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring magazine that December 12th and the 19th...
Davis is currently facing a civil lawsuit from his former girlfriend, Courtney Roselle, over an alleged incident on October 27th at a Miami nightclub where she is employed. Russell's legal complaint accuses Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional emotional distress. The filing claims Davis dragged and attacked her across different parts of the club, including the stairwell, kitchen, and parking area. Authorities in Miami Gardens confirm there is an active investigation alongside the civil lawsuit.
Champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub.
CHA Sonnen recently commented on the controversy involving the suspected cancellation of the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight, revealing that he personally contacted both teams to seek clarity. According to Sonnen, he attempted to reach out to Jake's representatives as well as Tank's side to confirm whether rumors were authentic, but neither side responded directly. Their refusal, he said, only fueled suspicion that something major was unfolding secretly. Sonnen suggested that when both fighters avoid denying rumors, it often signals more going on than the public knows, hinting that the issue may extend beyond timing into legal complications.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. my life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like, these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy. But
with Tank's fight now uncertain, Floyd has stepped forward and called out Jake to fight him. Floyd Mayweather has openly questioned Jake Paul's boxing skills. He recognizes Paul's success in crossover entertainment and finds him amusing, but stops before labeling him a real boxer. Mayweather has described a potential bout with Paul as simple work, showing that he believes Paul wouldn't offer a real threat to someone of his stature. He has also stated that while Paul has carved a profitable path, facing a world-class fighter would expose flaws in his training, form, and competition level.
There are many, many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents? Or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, where.
Additionally, Mayweather's refusal to offer rematches left many fans feeling there were unanswered questions. In contrast, Jake often beats opponents significantly older than him past their peak or much smaller physically. Mayweather himself has warned about Jake Paul's level of competition while still acknowledging his entertainment value. He cautioned that once Paul faces a legitimate fighter, the result could reveal the difference instantly.
Logan Paul and then Jake Paul now fighting Mike soon in the summer. What do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
What he's doing is, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
Meanwhile, some fighters and analysts credit Floyd Mayweather not just for his speed or defense, but for his mental sharpness. They argue his true weapon was his unbreakable self-belief, the idea that he could defeat anyone. For example, Tony Jeff has emphasized how Mayweather's confidence and psychological advantage helped him control matchups before they even began.
Really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're going to lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete, or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013, when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy.
Rumors also suggest that Mayweather is now pushing for a fight with Mike Tyson, and analysts believe this is more than a simple payday. They claim Floyd's motivation comes from wanting to remain the center of attention even after retirement. With the hype on the Davis vs. Paul fight, Mayweather appears unwilling to let anyone, even his protege, surpass him. Observers say this behavior is classic Floyd, a competitor who feeds on attention, rivalry, and legacy. While Gervonta and Jake prepare for their own spotlight, Floyd's rumored match reflects a larger idea: the ongoing battle among boxing legends to stay relevant in an evolving sports era.
People that are known, where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about...
According to several reports, Jake Paul's promotion team is already contacting different top-tier fighters as possible replacements for Davis, whose upcoming event has fallen into serious uncertainty due to legal accusations. There are increasing rumors that Jake Paul's team has contacted none other than Terence Crawford as a potential substitute opponent during the confusion around the original match against Gervonta Davis. Though many names have been discussed recently, no official confirmation has been given. The reason this stands out is Crawford's elite status in boxing. His presence would instantly raise the stakes and seriousness of the match. However, Crawford has not signed anything, and talks seem extremely early and speculative. Even so, the discussion alone shifts focus as fans wonder if Paul's team is moving toward a more respected, higher-level opponent.
For November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters. And the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, I mean, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is. He's just a big name, good-looking kid, great fighter, fast stands, and he's quite controversial as well. So that'd be a good fight, but the weight disparity, again, it's too big. So for me, when I say it'd be a good fight, it'd be interesting to see how Ryan Garcia would go in against Jake Paul, but to be honest, Jake Paul's far too big for him. Who else we got? Terence Crawford. I can't see Terence Crawford entertaining this, but then you never know, do you? If the old bunts make sense, then it makes people do strange things. And Terence Crawford's getting on now. What is he, 37, 38 years old? Had that great win against Canelo. Would he jump in with Jake Paul for mega money? Probably. He'd paced him as well. I mean, Terence Crawford would be too much for Jake Paul, even though he's up at 168 in his last fight, super middleweight, my old weight division. So I don't think Jake Paul would fight him. Francis Ngannou, I mean, why even chuck Ngannou in the mix? Ngannou would just hammer him. He's too big. I mean, he talked about Anthony Joshua. That never happened, did it? It's a load of bollocks. He talked about fighting AJ, then announced he's fighting someone the size of one of AJ's legs in Gervonta Davis. So for me, that's nothing. And the Nate Diaz fight, he's already fought him.
Many critics were already opposed to the fight between Jake and Tank. Fellow fighter Carl Froch has heavily criticized the planned matchup between Jake Paul and Davis, calling it basically a pointless fight. Froch argues the bout lacks real competitive value, noting Paul's limited ring experience and Davis's obvious advantage in skill and talent. He dismissed Paul as more of a showman than a true opponent and insists that the event won't survive the standards of real boxing fans. For Froch, the issue is not who wins, but if the fight deserves recognition as a meaningful matchup between two elite athletes.
Really fitting for fake Paul, the clown, because it's a clown show. You're putting him in with somebody who's 100 pounds lighter. I mentioned the weight disparity before. Getting on for 7 stone. It's a weight-governed sport. It should not be happening. He's too small, Gervonta Davis, against the big Jake Paul, who's in the gym a lot, training. Apparently he's fit and strong and he has a go and he can fight a little bit, which I disagree with because I don't think he can. He might be able to fight a little bit. He certainly can't box. But these allegations against Gervonta Davis, they're very serious allegations. Anybody that's laying hands on women needs to be shut down straight away. They need to be locked up in the key front.
Amir Khan has labelled the matchup a major mismatch. Khan attacked the organisers for approving what he compared to torture, stressing that stepping in and harming someone is unfair to Davis. With Paul reportedly weighing well above 200 pounds, while Davis has never competed higher than around 140 pounds, Khan called the fight dangerous and manipulative, questioning if Davis simply wants to earn money and leave the sport.
Nerves a little bit. I think the way he conducts himself, the way he acts, and I think he's just full of himself as well, and he thinks he can fight, and he's only been boxing for what, like a year. But he's been very lucky though. He has he's had some good wins against like MMA fighters. He's a little bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on.
Some critics are confused about why the match needed cancellation at all, arguing that Tank is physically prepared and able to compete despite his legal challenges. They mention several athletes have competed while facing charges, suggesting the decision might be driven more by public relations and company image than genuine well-being. Many fans feel that if Tank is willing to fight, promoters should allow the event to continue, especially after so much excitement and financial planning. Others argue that because of the serious accusations, pushing forward could cause massive backlash for everyone involved.
Did Gervonta Davis's cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, was it the right decision from Jake Paul, his team, and Netflix? Did they make the right move to cancel the Gervonta Davis fight? I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section. We'll probably do a longer video on this later, but I want y'all to interact and let me know y'all thoughts. Now that we know the fight is canceled, they announced it late yesterday while we were in the middle of our live stream. What is your thoughts? Do you think the fight should have been canceled? Smash the like button.
What's your take on the situation? Should Floyd Mayweather now fight Jake Paul instead, or should organizers wait until Tank resolves his legal problems? Share your opinion in the comment section.